About 420 delegates of the New Patriotic Party in the Kumawu constituency are at the polls to elect a parliamentary candidate for the upcoming by-election. The by-election slated for May 23 has become necessary following demise of MP Philip Baswa. 5 of the 8 candidates who filed nomination to contest remain in the race. The NPP in the constituency has over the years suffered division, a situation many believe has affected the party's electoral fortunes in the traditional stronghold. Organizer Henry Nanabwache speaks about closing party ranks after the election.
I think that we have done a lot so far. It's very unfortunate that our MP passed on. He was a very good friend. But by law, we are required to hold the election. And even the Electoral Commission came out with its guidelines. 23rd of next month, we are having the elections. Yes, we have done a lot, practically. For me, and then a team led by General Secretary, we've been frequenting the constituency. We've been engaging major stakeholders right from the grassroots. We've been engaging polling station executives. We've been engaging electoral area coordinators, constituency executives, even both former and then current executives. We have ultimately visited the premises of the Kumawu and then other traditional rulers as well. We have engaged Council of Elders, we have engaged patrons, and even Parliament as a body. And so far, I'm happy to announce to you that the commitment exhibited by every single person towards achieving the unity that Kumawu constituency deserves has been phenomenal, and we are happy with it. We open nominations. You notice that, yes, we've gone through our vetting. We open everybody who intended to pick nomination forms picked up. They've gone through the process. Out of the process, 3 people voluntarily stepped down, and their reasons are very welcomed by the party, and it was voluntary. Today climaxes the entire process where we are going to elect our parliamentary candidate, and it's been peaceful. As we speak here, you notice that the atmosphere is very calm, it's serene. I've been monitoring the atmosphere days before. As a national organizer, I've been doing a lot of checks, and I'm happy to announce to you that so far so good. The campaign messages from the aspirants have been nothing but solid, excellent. They've been in fact, all of them are preaching harmony, peace, progress, development for the constituency, and that is what we are happy with. None of them is preaching division. I belong to this camp, I belong here. No. Everybody is talking about development and how we can bring the constituency together. I'm particularly interested in this constituency, not because of anything, but because I come from here. I come from Seche. Seche is within the Kumawu constituency. The district is Seche Kumawu district. So that is where I come from. So I'm particularly interested in making sure that there is speed, serenity, there is calm within this constituency, so that at least as a national organizer, I can also pride myself in saying that yes, Kumawu constituency is now up and doing, and then we are going to make very huge impact.
Yes. You think the peace that you are getting seemingly will help restore the dominance of the NPP that you used to have until the previous parliamentary election, where a certain independent candidate came in to close in the margins?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, as I said, we've met the entire polling station, electoral area executives, and in that meeting, you could see that there was a leader from this faction, a leader from this faction. They all spoke, and it was very symbolic. All of them hugged, and at the end of the meeting, I have received so many calls, people saying that, oh, organizer, what you came to do was very good, it's very calm so far, all of us, we are working together. So that alone was good. Afterwards, we've done a lot of individual talks, because there were some opinion leaders within these factions, and so far, I can boldly tell you that Kumawu constituency is very peaceful, is very calm. And I believe that the aftermath of Honorable Baswa's death, that is what the constituency wants. And even he himself, I'm sure wherever he is now, is going to be happy how the entire constituency is being united and coming together for this particular exercise. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Entry Boysiako, has described the independent candidate Kwekudia as a traitor who was turned against the party.
So independent candidates, and this is for question chintini posters in I agree. Kumawu what you say? I have said no MPP ni but why to say Judas Iscariot? Say Kwakudia and did the Judas Iscariot. What are why Kwatia? Why you Kumawu Mahama? What you say? I Omo and the Cocodina chi, but say, Wako any and this if Wakoya and the poster in an green. First, I want to post and you say the net here. At the we are. Yanini will become what you say, Kumawu for Bembena who say, I MPP and a man up Sabano, and your Nunu and T and your mano. It is a year. I brought in one coba and this no, Yabamo Biahu. And this for no, I rely on it. And this for himself, 2,800 and something. It is this election, you know. And yet, the second is for the person mobile. Name quite near Quacohunu. And no I'm Maniska, so remember you come a woman, now I'm Quaho, because say, I'm peeping and this parliament in your bank. Not just a man put to wire ding. It's here we are. Quote here, on why you didn't become.
Now joining us live from Kumawu is Nanaya Jima from Love FM. Nanaya, if you can hear me, what is the current situation where you are?
So before we go or describe what is happening here, I would want to briefly summarize what Chairman Wontumi said, that Bernard Enchibo Isiakun, because he spoke in Chi. What he said is that the NPP is uniting for the next election. That's the by-election that comes off on the 23rd of next month. Now, when they unite, they know about the independent candidate who has vowed or who has already shown his posters and is willing to again contest in the parliamentary election. Now, the independent candidate, Mr. Kwakudia, in the previous election, that's in 2020, was in the race and he lost by less than 3,000 votes. So all indications show that Mr. Kwakudia is one of the people who is very strong when it comes to the parliamentary election, which will be held next month. That's the by-election. Now, what Mr. Wontumi is saying, or Chairman Wontumi is saying, is that in 2020, most of the people voted for him because they believe that he was an NPP person who was aggrieved with how the NPP were doing their things in the constituency. Now they have another opportunity to unite, but he is not for the New Patriotic Party, and everything shows that he is now in bed with the opposition NDC. So due to this reason, the party should unite against him, and when it should come to the election, the NPP members should vote against him. Also, he says that after this election, that's after the primaries, which is being held today, the NPP will ensure that they deal with his candidature. That is what, in brief, Mr. Chairman Enchibo Isiakun, that Chairman Wontumi has been saying to the people of Kumawu. Now, if you come to this place right now, that is where the election is being held, you can see that all the delegates are seated. The few who have been able to go into the ballot box to cast their ballots are leaving the area. They are outside, just outside the premises. Now they are voting in turns. Whenever you hear your polling area mentioned, the 5 people come out, walk straight into the EC area. That is where the EC is. They go through the process and are given the ballot papers. They go into the ballot booths, cast their ballot, and when they are done, they leave the place calmly. So as you can see, the place is very calm and things are moving smoothly. But before we got here, the various executives from the national to the regional of the NPP took turns to speak to the people, and the message that, or the key thing that ran through the message that they've been given is unity. They want the party to unite, close all ranks, especially after this primaries, close the ranks and unite and ensure that they are able to go into the parliamentary election again and win the seat for the New Patriotic Party. This is coming on the back of the diminishing electoral fortunes of the party in the Kumawu constituency. I have with me the regional youth organizer, Mr. Duffour Raphael Patrick, who have been monitoring the election closely, and we'll be having a little discussion, a brief discussion about what is happening here today. So far, how do you see the election?
Nana, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. I think you guys have been here since morning, and after the demise of our hard-working MP, Honorable Philip Baswa, as part of the party's rules and regulation, there was therefore the need for us to organize our internal election to select one person, that one person who will be acceptable to almost all the parties, so that we can present that person for the 23rd, next month 23rd by-election. And since morning, the principles of democratic processes have all been laid. It was all the reason why the General Secretary asked all the aspirants to take an oath before the party delegates, so that if the elections are over, at least any of them, whether win or lose, all of us can come together to face the NDC in the next the by-election that we are going to have. And so far, I think everything has been very good. I think you are witnesses to everything.
Now, before this election, I realized that you visited the Kumawu constituency a number of times, going around speaking to the delegates and also members of the New Patriotic Party. It's obvious that the NPP in this constituency is not as united as you as party executives expect them. Now, today, you've made them swear oath to unite and also close party ranks, ensure that the MVP is able to retain the seat. Now, from the oath that they took, do you think that these people will be sincere and stand by the oath?
But you know, Nanajima, Kumawu is a traditional NPP seat, and the people in this constituency are all traditional supporters of our party. It is a public knowledge, Nana. It is a public knowledge that there were some issues. If you check the electoral performance of our party in 2016-2020 elections, the results, you can see that there were issues. If you look at the performance of the president in the 2016 elections and the late Philip Baswa compared to the NDC and Mahama, you could see that another than Kufuor won in this constituency. Philip Baswa also won the elections in 2016. But in 2020, because of the emergence of the independent candidates, there were some, the MP, Philip Baswa had, I think, 14,000. The independent candidate had 11,000. The NDC had over 2,600. If you put the independent candidates' vote and Philip Baswa's vote together, it comes closer to President Kufuor's results. So everybody accepts the fact that there were some issues, internal disagreement. There were allegations of the fact that at least some of our party executives were even supporting the independent candidates. So after the demise of our hard-working Philip Baswa, there was therefore the need for the party to come to the constituency and engage the family, engage the traditional leaders, and also engage the party supporters. That is the delegate. We have gone through all the processes, and I think so far, so good. We have the kind of unity that we need. If the NPP want to consolidate power, if the NPP want to add up this constituency in terms of MP and numbers to the numbers we have in Parliament, I think we are going to need that unity, that united force, that togetherness. It's the reason why we wanted to bring all the aspirants before the delegate to swear an oath, commit themselves to the principles of engagement, that when the elections are over, at least we can all come together as a united force to go for the by-election. I think nobody can isolate him or herself from the anything that we have done here. So I think so far everything has been cool.
This will be my final question to you. When we came here during the speeches by the various executives of the party, it looks like the name of the independent candidate was running through almost every speech here. Will you say that the party is afraid of this candidature?
You see, we are not afraid of the independent candidate, but we can also underestimate the strength of the independent candidate. Looking at the performance and the results of the independent candidate in the previous election, one thing that we have accepted too is the fact that the independent candidate rose on the name of the New Patriotic Party in the previous election when there was disunity among our ranks. So it's the reason why almost all the speakers who spoke mention the name of the independent candidate. But like I said, we don't want to underestimate the strength of the independent candidate. But one thing we need is, if the NPP should have a united force, we should have a candidate who will be accepted, who will be acceptable or accepted by the people of Kumawu. If the people decide to own the person who will be elected today, I don't think anybody, including even the independent candidate, can stand the forces of the party in this constituency. Let's be honest, Kumawu is a traditional constituency for the New Patriotic Party. If you look at the historical performance of the NPP in this constituency, you can, if not the emergence of the independent candidate in 2020, I don't think there would have been any tension, there would have been any perceived fear of the possibility of the NPP losing this year. Why? Why will the NPP lose? Why will the NPP lose Kumawu constituency if not the emergence of the independent candidate? It's the reason why we want to go into the by-election with a united force. We want to go into the by-election with all the forces within our party. That is why from the first national chairman, the regional chairman, the general secretary, the national chairman, and all the regional and constituency executives of our party are all here to come and support and be evidence to the process, so that at least the oath that we took will not be in vain. Right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick. Now, we have a number of the members of parliament from the Ashanti region all here to also help ensure that the election is free and fair. Now, not long ago, it was announced that the EC is done with its work. That's the voting process itself. All the delegates, that the 420 delegates, have been called out to cast their ballot. So everything is done. As you can see, the EC is almost folding up, and very soon we'll see that the ballots are poured out for counting. Now, before I exit, I would want to go through the 5 people who have been cleared or who are contesting this election. Now, we have Kwame Apiakubi, who is first on the ballot. Dr. Abuajida Costa is third on the ballot. Mind you, the second person who was supposed to be on the ballot is Yalban. Unfortunately, before the election, a few hours before the election, he pulled out of the election. So from Dr. Abuajida Costa, the next is Amasewa, who is fourth on the ballot paper. Ernest Yao Enim, and finally Osei Shrie Kwame Bempa was also part of the people who put themselves out for the election here today. So election is over, voting process itself is over, EC is folding up, and very soon we will have the EC count the ballot for the winner of this election to be declared. Mind you, the main election itself, that the parliamentary election itself, is slated for the 23rd of next month.
Thank you so much, Nana Jima of Love FM. Now, to the camp of the NDC, former President John Mahama says the 2024 general election is critical to the NDC, and the party will not leave any stone unturned to win the elections.
This election is a critical one for us. It's a do or die affair for us. And we're not going to leave any stone unturned to win this election. We don't want to cheat anybody, and we don't want anybody to cheat us. I know that the MPP is feeling jittery, and that is why they are nominating and appointing their foot soldiers to become commissioners of the EC. But like I said, we're going to be like Azuma Nelson. We're going to take our referee into the ring. When we knock them down, there's no referee who will come and say that we didn't win the election. And when coming to office, I've promised that we're going to amend the constitution. And one of the things we're going to do is that commissioners, people who are appointed to the Electoral Commission, must go through parliamentary approval. We must vet them. If we vetted these people, Dr. Pierre Hine's long record as an MPP foot soldier would have come out. And the president would have been advised to know that that is not a proper person to appoint onto the commission. Aside from that, Parliament has told the commission that if you use only the Ghana card, you are going to disenfranchise people. And yet, I don't know what stubbornness, has possessed that commission. What Beshi is in there, that all they know is Ghana card, that's it. And so they are determined to bring that same CI. When we come into office, we'll do a constitutional amendment that allows Parliament to debate and amend constitutional instruments, so that no constitutional body can just ride roughshod over Parliament. Parliament is the representatives of the people. and their opinions must be factored into anything. CIs cannot just be automatic instruments that anybody just brings. In our constitution, there are checks and balances. That's why there are checks and balances. Yes, we say the Electoral Commission should be independent, but it doesn't mean that there's some commission living in Jupiter and can just pass any constitutional instrument that it wants. And so we will amend the constitution to make sure that Parliament can properly put its input into any constitutional instrument before it is passed into law.
Also on his tour of the Greater Accra region, the former president said, unlike the NPP, the NDC has the men to take Ghanaians out of the current economic troubles.
Our country is in crisis. We need experience to bring it back on its feet. And by God's grace, NDC has the men. Some people said they had the men. We didn't know they were area boys. They have destroyed this economy. They've destroyed this country. They were supposed to be a very solid economic management team, and yet they have run the economy into a ditch. When they were borrowing and were telling them, they didn't understand. In the 4 years that we worked, all the things that we did, all the development projects, when I was president, we used only 54 billion cedis. And when we left office, our total debt from the governments before me till when I left was 120 billion. And in 6.5 years, you've taken it from 120 billion to almost 600 billion. And yet our road networks are so poor. People don't get water to drink. We expanded Pong by 40 million gallons. By the time we finished the Pong expansion, parts of Accra that did not have water started to get water. Adenta hadn't got water for 25 years until NDC came into office. They started to get water. Today, if you go to Adenta, they get water only once a week. And yet when we're leaving office, their pipes were busting because the pressure was too high. And so everything has its end. And Ghanaians say, NDC, we want you to come back and put Ghana back on its feet, put Tema back on its feet, and take us out of the hardship.
NDC flag bearer hopeful Dr. Duffour says cassava alone can change Ghana's economic situation within a year. Speaking in an interview on ATL FM during his tour of the central region, he said Ghana is not poor but is in this economic situation because of bad management of the country's resources. He has been telling members of the NDC to vote for him on 13th May to lead the party.
You see, we are so lucky. The Creator loves Ghana. We have huge resources. If anybody tells you this country is poor, he's lying. Our natural resources, in particular, our mineral resources alone can turn this country around if we manage that particular subsector well. Gold, the other minerals. How much do you get from gold? If you look into what we call balance of payments, supposed to export about $7 billion a year. How much do we get from this? How much of this touches our cash flow or comes back to Ghana? So we have the resources, young man. We are not a poor country. If we Ghanaians say poor, we are poor because of the way we are managing our resources. Okay? Cassava alone can turn this country around within a year.
Within a year?
Of course, yes. Go to Nigeria. It's a Nigerian firm that has signed an agreement with an American firm. This particular Nigerian firm, by 2028, we're exporting $6.5 billion of cassava products to the U.S. market. And for cassava, we are next to Nigeria in terms of the potential or capacity, whatever. The whole world, we are number 5 cassava. We have the resources. We are not a poor country. We have the resources. I will not spend a lot of time looking at these taxes. I'll focus on the extractive sector. Then we have the gold, we have the oil. You understand? If you look at the mini budget that our finance minister presented last year, this July, he made a point that we exported $3.9 billion of our oil, crude oil, 3.9 billion. Look at the document. And our portion was $513 million. He was right. Then he added, but we imported almost $2.8 billion of petroleum products. You hear me? So for that particular sector, oil, we are informing the whole world that we're exporting oil. Here you are, your finance minister is telling you that the oil you claim you're exporting, you exported $3.9 billion, and your portion was $513 million. In addition to this, you spent about $2.8 billion to import petroleum products. Do you understand me? So what sort of economy are we running?
Please, my humble question, will Dr. Duffour accept to support the former president should, in case he loses and the vice president opportunity comes? This is a listener asking.
You ask him, why should he support him? Why is Dr. Duffour? Why should he support him? We have 31 million people. If Dr. Duffour was so suitable to do the job, you understand me? If he knows that he's not suitable, why should he support him? But if he knows he's suitable, why won't he vote for him?
You're still watching Joy Newsroom. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back. Now, President Duffour is charging the youth to be up and doing by leading a generation that will build the new Ghanaian civilization. According to him, a lot is expected of the youth to turn the fortunes of the country around. Speaking at the inauguration of Nenyi Gate VII as the new Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, the President tasked the university to spearhead a new national vision of education that will mold graduates to produce prosperity for the country. There's more on this report.
The University of Education's choice of Nenyi Gate VII as the new Chancellor was described by President Akufo-Addo as an excellent choice, a choice he hopes will spur the university on for greater heights.
I believe the university could not have picked a worthier successor than Nenyi Gate VII. His wealth of experience should ensure a seamless transition and put him in good stead to help spur on the university onto even greater heights.
The president charged the youth to lead a new Ghanaian civilization that is hoped to propel the country to greater heights.
This is my expectation and hope that the University of Education, Winneba, whose core mandate is to, quote, to produce professional educators, to spearhead a new national vision of education aimed at redirecting Ghana's efforts along the path of rapid economic and social development, unquote. We'll continue to produce graduates who are molded to take on the opportunities and possibilities for higher achievement through innovation and creativity in today's science and technology-led, knowledge-driven global economy, and who will thereby help generate prosperity for the mass of our people in our time. One fundamental belief that shapes everything that I do. And that is that we have it in us to be the best generation, the generation that fulfills the dreams of the great patriots who brought our nation independence from British colonial rule, the generation whose work will give full meaning to the words of our country's motto, freedom and justice, the generation that will build a new Ghanaian civilization, the equal of any on the face of the planet. Let us therefore be up and doing.
The new Chancellor, Nenyi Gate VII, assured the university community he would discharge his roles diligently.
I had my dreams, and none of what I find myself doing today is what I dreamt of being or wanted to be. However, this has not deterred me from rising to the task whenever the need arose for me to lead the people of Efutu, and so I will execute the responsibilities that come with this august office. I know that the responsibilities that come with this role cannot be underestimated, especially when the university has to contend with and survive in challenging times of global financial constraints and fierce competition among Ghanaian universities for students.
Chairman of the UEW Governing Council, Nana Ofori Ansa, assured the President of their support for the new Chancellor.
I assure you that the Governing Council, under my leadership, will support the Chancellor and accord him the necessary cooperation during his tenure as Chancellor, so that together we work together towards the development of this university. I hereby call on management, convocation, staff, alumni, and students to acknowledge Nenyi Gate as the next Chancellor of UEW and also give him all the needed support to ensure he succeeds in his role.
Nenyi Gate VII becomes the second Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba. Reporting for Joy News from Winneba, Richard Kwejenyako.
The head of programs at the National Mosque and the office of the Chief Imam, Alhaji Jabril Kango, has urged Muslims in Ghana to live according to the tenets of the faith. According to him, Islam preaches peace and discipline. Therefore, whosoever professes the faith must be peaceful and disciplined in all aspects of life. He's speaking at an event organized at the National Mosque to mark this year's Eid al-Fitr celebrations.
As part of the Eid celebrations, the Office of the National Chief Imam, in collaboration with the Qatar charity Jalal Quran and the National Mosque, organized the Eid Fun Fair to bring together children from all walks of life to have fun and also socialize. The event, which seeks to promote unity, peace, and cultural development, saw parents from Ghana and other nationals such as Turkish, Lebanese, Qatari bringing their children for the fun fair, which is in its second year of organization. The children were treated to fun activities such as bouncing castle, train rides, family fun times. Omen Zal is the head of Jalal Quran.
We have organized this event together in collaboration with the National Mosque of Ghana, Hudai, Tinasco, and Qatar Charity to bring together the community, especially the Nima community, as well as we see that National Mosque is very close to the Nima community. So we have to bring them in to celebrate with them. We have also invited the people from Muslims around the country, from all over the country, and non-Muslims as well. Thank God we have achieved what and we haven't expected the number of participants. And you can see the gathering all over.
Alhaji Jabril Kango is the head of programs at the National Mosque and the office of the National Chief Imam. He urged Muslims in Ghana to live according to the tenets of the Islamic faith.
My message is quite simple. Islam is peace. And today, what we are having today, and the Eid al-Fitr is a global celebration. So certainly we have a message to tell the Ummah and the Christians. We Muslims, we have some character or attitude that is contrary to Islam. People assume the behavior of boy in Fadama or the behavior of Nima boy that's the behavior of a Muslim. Far from that. The character of an ideal Muslim, you should stay away from unnecessary arguments. Fight. Indecent dressing. Sometimes at this modern day, you see a Muslim brother, excuse my word, his behavior or his dressing is absolutely indecent. So an ideal Muslim should stay away from all these indecent acts.
Ismaili Lari, who represented the country director of the Qatari charity, on his part says the event is in line with the belief of Islam, hence they find it necessary to support. He further advised people to be hopeful in all situations.
The month of Ramadan is a month of sacrifice. The month of what one has to, otherwise something that has been, lawful to you, for the sake of Ramadan, it will become something like unlawful. Being it that we want to ensure that there is happiness, in the hearts of all loving Muslims and even non-Muslims. So therefore, we realize that we have to partner Jalil Quran, for example, so that the happiness that will be brought onto the eyes or onto the faces of people would be greater. The Eid message to the Muslims out there is for them to have hope with peace. If you have hope, there is more to your life. Without hope, you realize that you will be more or less hopeless in life.
Some of the parents who attended the program with their children expressed their gratitude to the organizer while calling on them to organize same next year.
In fact, I'm very happy, I'm very excited to be here. In fact, when I was coming, I was doubting. I was thinking that it's just for children. But when I came here, I've seen plenty adults around. So I think the place is very interesting and it was fun. It's like, I didn't even know that much is going on here. There's Quranic recitation, there's Azan competition, and so many other things. There's food and other things. So it's like, it's wow, it's wow. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, Welcome back. We'll be going back to Kumawu, where counting is underway for the NPP primaries. Nanaya Ojima of Love FM is on the line. Nanaya, what can you tell us? Nanaya Ojima, if you can tell me on our screens, we can see some jubilations going on. What's happening there? Unfortunately, we are unable to hear my colleague Nanaya Ojima, but on your screen now, we suspect that counting has been completed and people there, or delegates there, are jubilating because maybe someone they support has won. But Nanaya Ojima now joins us. Nanaya, what is happening where you are?
That is being done, their candidate has won the election. Now, during the counting, we had Amasewa, who was the closest contestant. Her votes or ballots being counted earlier, and she had somewhere around 180. And according to the supporters of NSNIM, they've passed that mark, the 180 mark. So to them, they've won the election. Now, I think something is happening here, something interesting. Dr. Abwajida Costa and Amasewa, they've hugged each other and waving at the crowd. I don't know if that is a concession of defeat on their side. I would want to try get closer to them and see if briefly they will give us something. There's a conversation between the two. I'm trying to get to Doctor and see if hello, madam. I don't know. These are supporters of NSNIM. Does that mean that they've won?
Yeah, I suppose so. It was a close contest, but MPP is the winner. We have a winner. I congratulate Ernest. And like we said, we pledge to support him. I'm happy he has won. Congrats to him.
But as as at now, we don't have the clear figures yet.
Well, I think we almost do. It's clear. But we'll wait for the official declaration. But it looks like the lines are drawn. And congrats to him.
That's Amasewa conceding defeat. We also have Dr. Abuaji da Costa. Doc, before the election, you were so confident that you will win today.
I was. Yes, I was. Congratulations to Ernest. He's done it. He's done it for Kumawu. We will all support him. It was a good experience. I mean, it's my first time, and I think I made a little bit of impact, but all the best to Ernest, and we will all support him to take the seat to retain the seat. So congratulations to Ernest. Yeah.
Well done, Doc. Congratulations. Now, the information we have, and from all indications, it looks like Ernest Enim has won the election. Dr. Abuaji da Costa.
And as you heard, Ernest Enim has become victorious, though the official figures are yet to be declared. Even though that is the case, Amasewa and Dr. Abuaji da Costa have conceded defeat in Kumawu. We'll be bringing you updates as and when we get them. But for now, that's it for this package. I am Maame Esi Thompson. Up next is the law, and they'll be treating divorce, property distribution. Please stay tuned.